Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Sunday to you and your family. We're going to take a look here at XEC and just kind of help understand best practice and big picture for specific coins like this. In other words, what should you do when we see a candle wick of this length and obviously a volume to follow? And we want to understand what the best practice is there too. And I have a specific strategy in something like this and I want to kind of share that with you. But more importantly, I do want to preface and let you know that this is probably not the most effective coin or type of coin to try to invest in, at least while it's adjusting right now, right? You typically want to wait for confirmation, and there's no confirmation here except for the fact that it's shooting all over the place. In all likelihood, I haven't looked at the smaller time frames yet, but traditionally when coins like this do jump up and jump down, it's a fundamental catalyst and or some kind of market manipulation. You want to traditionally, I would say, just avoid it altogether. Either way, not a financial advisor, love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. And if you do learn something, obviously, comment below. Let me know if you want to become a community member. I do offer a trading academy, community, and signal group. I've had a lot of graduates here recently do very well for themselves. And what's great about it is I can actually provide you with tools and resources to survive bear markets and bull markets. Because if you can do well in a bear market, you can do fantastic in a bull market. All right, so we'll talk about that later, but link in the description below. CryptoCache.tech is the website if you want to consider joining. Take a look here though at XCC. I mean, obviously we see what's going on here, right? It is a significant increase in price in a short amount of time. So when you see all these moving averages and everything there, they don't matter too much when this kind of thing happens. But what I'm willing to speculate is that we had a previous support level that was that basically was a support, now working as a resistance right here at about 6,500. Okay, so if we take a look, yep, big surprise. Take a look at this here. We can see this level right here, essentially where the price action came down, and that was basically in January, right, when Bitcoin was kind of taking its first its first dump. We got a couple of retests there, and then it broke down below here, the third and final attempt. So suffice to say, that is probably a likely very strong resistance level. So you got to recognize that the price were to recover, that it'll get likely rejected there initially. Okay. Second thing to recognize too, based on Fibonacci with this increase here, it's common for the price action to average itself out usually at 0.5 or lower. Okay, so in other words, the price comes up like this, it'll come down to 0.5, sometimes consolidate and come down lower. Smaller time frames might reflect that, but here in the last 24 hours, it's obvious the price action is kind of low here, and it would make sense for it to, since it's already at this level, the 0.236 level is pretty common characteristic for retracement of this magnitude. Again, the higher it shoots up, the stronger it will likely shoot down. That's kind of the general consensus. So we take a look at some of the other stuff here. Here's something that's important to recognize. From a technical standpoint, this thing still has room to grow, right? In other words, the RSI is not extremely overextended, it's barely over 50. We can also see the MACD is almost converging, so it does look like it's ready to kind of continue up higher. So not to say that the price action will just continue lower from here. I think it's more likely the price it's going to steady itself out, find its center, and then inevitably increase from there, pending Bitcoin doesn't take another dump, right? So if Bitcoin can stay and hold above 20,000, I think we're in pretty good shape here to see XEC continue higher based on the macro movements. All right, that's the macro. Let's look at the micro here, or more so the midterm here on the 4 hour, and see what's going on. Obviously, first of all, it's a very strong candle followed by less volume. So in other words, we've got two volume increases here essentially, whereas the second is less high than the third, or the first rather. The third is obviously just created. This candlestick is only 20 minutes old, so really at this point what we want to recognize is the fact that it came up to hit a resistance, came down, tried to average itself out at that 0.5 level, and continued lower. So there's no support there at that area, and we got to recognize that. The thing we also want to look at too would be the support here based on RSI. In other words, typically when you see the price jump up over 70, come back down, it'll work as a support level, that 70 level, to keep the price action higher. So what should have happened, honestly, is for the price action to kind of consolidate right around 4,700, but instead we lost that support and it's continuing lower. So that tells me there's more manipulation here than just anything else, and that whomever shot the price up is just taking their profits on the way down while other people are FOMOing in. It's a really common characteristic. So again, try to avoid stuff like this altogether if possible. Obviously, if you have a big picture, thought process on XCC and that you want it to be the coin that you're going to retire on, perhaps it's a different story, but that is not the best way to make money in the market. Either way you look at it, we had a MACD convergence here recently, which is kind of null and void. So a lot of times when you look at this data, it's extremely difficult to kind of gauge where it's going to go next. The best thing you can do is kind of go with the law of averages, and in most cases, prices do average out at between 0.5 and 0.232. So in other words, these Fibonacci retracement levels, we should see the price action range bound in this area for a little while to retest this resistance, and then for the price action to potentially increase. Okay. So again, a lot of different scenarios here. I know it sounds crazy and weird, but generally speaking, you want to just kind of try to avoid this if possible. So it's like, well, why avoid it if it's making me money? Well, I get that, but something like this, you know, there's not a lot of meat left on the bone, you could say. It shot its load, so to speak, and it's essentially doing what it's doing, okay? That being said, it took 2 hours for the price action to increase, drum roll please, 75% in 2 hours, okay? An increase of that magnitude is almost always going to come right back down from where it started, okay? So I would not be surprised if we see the price action actually test this level here right at about 4,300. That being said, if we take a look at some, momentous type of situations here, we can see we came up to a 7, got a reset, now we're down to a 3. So hypothetically, we have another 6 more hours of consolidation and or retracement. Okay, so I wouldn't expect this to recover anytime soon. I would just say avoid it with a 10-foot pole, if that's the expression that I'm looking for. And essentially, it's not really something that's worth investing in. So that's kind of my whole reason for covering this. Even though I got a lot of requests for this, I get a lot of requests every single day, and I just wanted to kind of give a little public service announcement, let you know that coins like this, there's a lot of them out there, and it's best to kind of avoid them if possible. Stick to coins that have a lot more liquidity, higher volume. Their market capitalization is tremendously higher. I haven't looked at XCC honestly, so I don't truly know where it's at, but it can't be that high if it was just manipulated this much and came right back down, right? There has to be something there. So once again, just note, key level resistances right here is about around 4,700. So we can see this Fibonacci retracement level right here at this level is going to be a resistance based on previous resistance levels too, right? So again, it really truly didn't do much here. It really just broke down, and effectively hasn't had an opportunity to be able to continue higher because it doesn't have enough time and enough volume to continue that. Okay, so all right, that's kind of where we're at there. I think I'm spinning in circles here. I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. Always be cautious and careful. If you're a community member, I recommend avoiding coins like this, even though it seems like, oh, I want to short this all the way down to 4,300. There's no guarantees it's going to continue down lower, but the thing I can guarantee is that it's not a good coin to invest in long term. Perhaps make a little bit of money in and out, that's all well and good, but I would not recommend investing in coins that are not, just say in the top 100, for example. That being said, I hope you learned something here today. I appreciate you rolling with it. And if you're not currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next one.